Thank you all. Very special. Thank you. Well, good evening. I'll need to step back for a sec. Thank you, Judge Gallivan, for such beautiful words. The check will be in the mail soon. Thank you, Q Law, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to have a chance to speak to so many individuals where I'm made to feel like I belong. I immigrated to this country at the ripe old age of 16 to attend university in New York City. All members of my immediate family were either in Trinidad or England at the time. So I was technically a child maneuvering through an adult world. I must admit I was fearless. Years later, in 2015, I received 2 calls that changed my life profoundly. Both were calls to action. The first was from Governor Inslee, our governor of this wonderful state, informing me of my appointment to the Pierce County Superior Court. I accepted the call to service and moved from my position as a Board of Industrial Insurance Appeals judge to the Pierce County Superior Court bench. At that time, I was the youngest person of color. Well, I still am, actually. The only Black female. I still am, actually. The first immigrant born. I still am, actually. And the first openly gay. And only this year, while having breakfast with some friends, I was informed that I'm the first openly gay Black female judicial officer in the state of Washington. I must admit I am fearless. A few months after joining my bench, I was contacted by the State Department to return to my home country on a humanitarian mission for human rights. And that's the video they created that you saw. With my wife's agreement, we accepted the call to service. You see, to be openly gay in Trinidad and Tobago was a crime, a criminal offense, punishable with up to 25 years of incarceration. The import of putting a face on the inhumanity of that situation outweighed any fear that we had. So we made arrangements for our 4-legged son, and we jumped right in. We were fearless. My parents were both public servants, teachers, and my siblings and I were raised not only to be fearless, but to be accountable. Both requests in 2015 centered around my new privileged position as a Superior Court judge, and continued to require that I be held accountable. Accountable for holding up the esteems of an institution that requires that the law uphold equal rights for all. In 2016, I received a letter thanking me for the work I did during the humanitarian mission. The letter said, "America is and always has been a nation of immigrants. America is strong because of our openness, our diversity, and our legacy as a nation of immigrants. And your story speaks to the importance of one of our most fundamental principles, that no matter who you are, where you come from, or who you love, all our people should have an equal chance to share in America's promise." The letter was written by President Barack Obama. Equal treatment allows us all to live up to our full potential as we chart a common trajectory towards a more free, equal, and prosperous community. I am proud to state that President Obama was correct in his 2015 Caribbean American and LGBT proclamation for the Caribbean islands, which is what forced them, or put me on the radar, to have them contact me to make the trip home. A year later, which would have been 2016, a courageous young man named Jason Jones challenged the constitutionality of the discriminatory LGBT laws in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am so proud to state that yesterday, less than 30 hours ago, a justice of the High Court agreed and struck down the colonial laws as unconstitutional. Justice Devendra Ramprasad held that all people deserve to live with dignity and respect, free from fear and violence, and protected against discrimination, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. Democracy means the recognition of the rights of others. In essence, that every creed and race can indeed find an equal place in that democracy. So my adopted American family, we must continue to strive to create and build a society where every child grows up knowing that their country supports them, is proud of them, and has a place for them exactly the way they are, especially today. Margaret Mead, a famous anthropologist, said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And it happened yesterday. I wrote this beautiful speech when I was asked by Q to do the keynote speech. And needless to say, it was scrapped. So I had to write what I wrote overnight. I cannot tell you how honored I am to have had the opportunity to give a voice and a face to those that were not able to speak. And it will be a long journey. And as you heard from Mr. Ward, it took about 25 years to get to this point here in the US. My wife and I got married in 2013. She's a retired command sergeant major. She's also an attorney. And when I got asked to return home, and I made it clear to her that returning home could mean incarceration, the military training in her kicked in. And she was ready to wage war. I could not have done that then, and I could not do what I do now without allies like each and every one of you. But there's something I'd like to say before I end, and that is the T in the LGBT. We must not forget those of us that fall towards the end of the struggle to gain equality. And I include myself in that group because you've heard of all of the different marginalized groups or sects that I fall into. So I don't want you to do that to that group. Our transgender brothers and sisters need us to stand for them, because look what has happened in regards to their stability in our military most recently. While we are basking in our privilege of having attained a seat, having attained the ability to say I do, we forgot to make sure that the T was safe in the LGBT. If they can pick off one of us, it's only a matter of time before they get to all of us. So let's make sure we don't forget that we are indeed one, and all of the different facets of us need to be protected at all times.